One's the big Gartley pattern which Akil put into the trade floor, so I'm not really going to talk too much about this one. It was one we identified in that structure consolidation zone, ended up completing up here at 32.79, conventional targets, conventional stops. So we're in this, it's quite a decent sized trade. It's a swing trade on the 4-hour time frame. We've pushed down to about halfway to targets, but we'll see how that one goes. The one I was going to talk to you about, there's a couple of setups that are very similar. And the first one I'm going to talk to you about is on the New Zealand dollar, because this is a trend continuation trade. We've been looking to short this pair in this bearish move, and as we got a pullback, into this previous structure support level, should become resistance. We started to build out confirmation or a zone of high probability for a trend continuation move, and the first thing we did was identify the previous structure support, which should become resistance. Okay, so this is effectively a kill zone here, and then what we did is, as we started to push up, we put in this little complex pullback, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw on this equal measured move. And you can see that completes right in that zone. So I started looking at this level here as we started to push up, and we had an equal measured move lining up at previous structure. So let's just colour this in a bit of a different colour so you can see that. So we had an equal measured move, and we all know that if we get an equal measured move like this, we can use some Fibonacci ratios to get some confluence up in that zone, which, when used correctly, these tools have an incredible impact on your trading if you use them at the right place. And we're using them here to build out a zone with as much confluence and confirmation for a potential reaction. So we brought on the extension tool. You can see we had a 1414 up at that level, and you guys might see where we're going already based on understanding what I look for. Whoops. But a 1414 followed by a inversion, and this is called an inversion trade. The way I tested this personally was a 1618 inversion with a 1414. I also tested a doji candle at the completion as well, but we got in fib inversion. Although I'm not taking conventional targets for the fib inversion, I'm using an ATR base stop above the high, and I'm using a retest of the lows for targets. So I'm using this as a trend continuation move. I'm actually looking for that further movement to the downside, for a retest of these lows. Now, if you wanted further confirmation, you don't trade the fib inversion. Well, if you bring on a retracement tool, you're going to see that you've got the 50% lining up there as well. So not only have you got an extension and an inversion, you've got a retracement lining up as well. So there's some nice confluence in that zone. You've got an equal measured move, and then lastly, if you drop down to the lower time frame, if your plan allows you to drop down to the lower time frame for entries, you're going to see that we had a lovely double top. So we had RSI go overbought, we had a nice double top, perfect double top at previous structure, and previous support become resistance, and then we've respected that level. Sorry. So even if you waited for the double top, your entry was at 68.35. So that's what I'm in. Alright, so just to update you on this trade, pushed down overnight. This was overnight. We pushed down, almost hit targets, came within 4 pips of my my order. Now I do have a rule where if we come within 2 pips of my order, then I can roll my stops to break even. We haven't done that, so therefore I can't roll my stops to break even just yet. If we do push down and come within 2 pips of my order at 67.87, then I can roll my stops down to break even here, so that I'm no longer in a losing trade. I can't any longer lose any money on the trade. And the reason I do that is because I was right, and there's no way that I want to let the market take my money knowing that I was right, and the move that I predicted played out, but just so happened to reverse
and move and stop me out. So I have a rule where if we come within 2 pips of my order, I can roll my stops to break even. Haven't done it yet. We've come within 4 pips, so I can't move it yet. Just going to have to wait and see. Hopefully we can hit targets, but again, may get stopped out. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. And if you want to follow this, come into the live room and you'll see this stuff. I mean, many other trades this week because it's a busy week following the slow weeks that we've just had. If you're interested, come into the live room and I'll see you in there.